Hi everyone, welcome back to Planet J Tarot. Today's reading is going to describe the relationship between you and your best friend. So you're going to pick a pile and then we're going to get into it. Okay, so what I like to do is use my die, 1, 2, 3. I'll start selling the die on my website so you guys can get one and use it for all the readings that I'll be posting. They're all timeless, so whenever you found this is when it's meant for you. I'll give you a second. We're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. So thank you so much for being here. I will put all the important links for you, pile 1, in the description box below. You got the card of the Wheel of Fortune. So I definitely feel like you and your friend were meant to be in each other's life. You and your best friend were meant to be in each other's life. It was definitely fate for you guys to meet. Okay. What I like to do to start off the reading is to do a energy check. And for this energy check, we'll be using our Modern Witch. Wait, is this? Yes, our Modern Witch Tarot deck. Okay. You will be on the left and your best friend will be on the right. This is just going to be describing your personality versus them. Okay. If this resonates with you, keep watching. But if you felt pulled toward another pile and the energy check for that one seems a little bit more your speed, maybe you have messages in both. Now, I also want to say, keep in mind that roles can be reversed here. I'm channeling 2 different energies without either of them being here. So if you resonate with one side more, but I say something that sounds a little bit similar to you in the other side, take it with a grain of salt, you know, apply it to your specific situation. Okay. But here's your energy. This is your personality, the Hermit. You may be a Virgo, okay, and your best friend seems like their personality is the Knight of Pentacles. You might both be earth signs. They could be a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo as well. But overall, what I'm getting is you might be a little bit more of an introverted person compared to your person. But both of you seem to be the type of person that can come up with a good plan. You seem like stable people for each other. However, I do think that the Hermit, or you in this friendship, may be the type of person that overthinks a little bit more. You may be the type that isolates yourself when you're not in the best mood. And I say that because right underneath the Hermit card is the 10 of Wands. Okay. You may be someone that carries a lot of burden for other people. You really like to take care of your friends, I'm hearing. You may even take on some of the responsibilities for your friends, just so that they don't have to. And you also seem like someone who's just generally very loving with this 10 of Cups energy here. Now, for your best friend, they seem like the type of person who's very dedicated, very loyal, and someone who is willing to put in work. They seem like someone who is very patient with their goals. I'm not sure if this translates into the relationship per se, but in terms of your person, they seem like someone who's very stable and grounded. Yeah, that's the energy I'm getting from them. More of a calm energy. Not that you're not calm, but we're just talking about them. Okay, so here's the Knight of Pentacles. Underneath it is the Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like your person is very resourceful, and they may really be like a true gift to people. They may really like to give gifts to people. That might be one of their love languages. But I'm getting that both of you guys may be the type of person that thinks a lot but doesn't really say much. But I feel like that's just the personality of your person. They may be someone that is more action oriented rather than speaking. And that may cause some conflict with you two, because you do seem to be the type of person that thinks quite a lot, but might not say it. And so to have someone that is more action oriented but doesn't really say much, that could be great, right? Because that could mean that they just that this person kind of just soothes your worries and has a way of offering you help without really needing to say too much about it. So it could go both ways, but that seems to be both of your guys' personality here. Okay. So that was that for the energy check there. We are going to just move these to the side now, and I will keep them in mind throughout the reading. And if, you know, either of these cards sorts of come out later, then I will know whose energy is what now. So yeah, you have the Hermit, you have the 10 of Wands, and then you have the 10 of Cups. So a lot of 10s. You are a very big energy person. You also have a major arcana person, or major arcana card coming out for you. So you have definitely had a big influence on this person, or and other people in your life in general. You are someone that makes people think deeper. And as for your person, they had the Knight of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, as well as the Page of Swords in reverse. Your person may have air and earth placements, or they could have fixed energy. I am getting fixed energy from them. So your best friend may be a Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, or Scorpio, or may have Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, or Scorpio placements in their big 3 or big 6. And you may have Virgo or Capricorn. I was kind of getting Capricorn or Virgo energy for you in your big 3 or big 6. You may even have some of those placements, either of you, in your 7th house. Now we're going to look a little bit more into what those placements may be. Right now, we're going to start with our Heavenly Bodies astrology deck. I think it's an oracle deck, but it's called Heavenly Bodies. If you guys like it, you can look it up. Okay. All right. So for this, we're going to be looking at what could be your possible sign or their possible sign or big 6. We'll also look at how you guys complement each other, but what difficulties may come up according to each of you. So this will be from both of you guys' perspectives as well. And then we'll see the overall energy between you and your best friend. Okay, so let's start off with you. This might be your sign, the type of person you are. You may have house placements here. So let's see. House 9, spiritual growth in reverse. So you might have ninth house placements. You may have Sag placements. You might have ninth house placements. Interesting. Spiritual growth in reverse. And for your person or your best friend, they have house 4, cultural and family roots, home, peace, and comfort. So they have 4. They may have Cancer or 4th house placements. So I can already see how... I can already see how this energy is being translated. That Hermit card being translated to this house 9 in reverse. And for them, they had the Page of Swords in reverse with house 4, which is, I can understand why. Maybe this person feels a lot, but doesn't say much. Your best friend might be the type of person that doesn't really say much, but they have they seem to be intuitive. And you may have had some sort of spiritual block at some point. I don't know if that's still who you are, but it could also be that you just experience a lot of ups and downs that make you question your spiritual path sometimes. But for some of you guys, I'm kind of getting, maybe this doesn't need to be in reverse. You may actually be the quite opposite, and someone that is very spiritual or religious or, you know, expansive in your mind and your energy now, as opposed to the way it used to be. So take that with a grain of salt, and that'll be how it is for all of these. This could be a past or present energy. We're not doing past, present, and future because that would just make this way too long. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, pile 1. But yeah, that's okay. Now this is what you feel like is how you guys may complement each other, or what might bring difficulties into the relationship. And this is Capricorn, so ambition, realism, and I can never say this word. Methodological. Why can't I say this word? You guys please read it, because like I don't, it's like one of those words that's just like always been a tongue twister for me. Steps. Oh, Capricorn energy. That's not, I was saying I felt Capricorn energy. So you could be someone, what you bring to the table is you could be someone that is very ambitious, a realist, someone that keeps it real with their friends, and someone who is very practical, and you might be the planner in the friendship. But I'm also getting that in a way, okay, yeah, let's see what they are. Yeah, before I speak. They have the moon in reverse. Yeah, your person might have Cancer or water placements as well. It's interesting because they have earth, they had air, and they have water. They might have it all in their chart. You seem to be coming up a little bit more of earth. You could have Capricorn or maybe water houses or fire houses. I don't know. You guys, you know, like I said, take this with a grain of salt. I'm trying to think outside of the box here, because these are also what could be synastry aspects for you guys. So you might have placements in each other's 10th or 4th houses, which is really kind of makes a lot of sense when we have this Wheel of Fortune card for what you guys picked for your pile, because Wheel of Fortune is very destined. And when I think of the 10th and the 4th, I think of North Node and South Node for some reason. So yeah, okay. But they have the moon. And on this card, it says, satisfy emotional needs, nurture the self and others. Okay, so yeah, immediately I can see, because Capricorn and the moon are opposite energies, right? Because Capricorn and Cancer, the moon rules Cancer, and Saturn rules Capricorn. You might have Saturn touching your sun or your ascendant, and your person might have the moon touching their sun or their ascendant, or they might have Cancer or fourth house placements. Okay, but what I mean by this is, even just looking at the way that this deck has now positioned itself, you have Capricorn and the moon crossing each other. So it does make me think that you guys might have like opposite placements. Like, for example, one of you guys might be a Taurus and the other could be a Scorpio, or you could be an Aries and a Libra, or have Aries and Libra in your charts. Like, your person could have Aries in their chart and you could have Libra in your chart. So I do feel like in terms of synastry or placements, or just personality wise, you could have two very opposing ways of approaching things. I feel like your person or your best friend, they are someone that is very emotional. They might even be someone who's very defensive. They might come from a very strong family that has a very thick and strong cultural background. Their family might be very close-knit, or just have put a lot of emphasis on family values for them, okay? That might not be the type of person that they are, though, because they are coming out with a little bit more earth. So I do think that they are a loyal person, but they might not just be as emotional of a person, like outwardly. I feel like your best friend could be the type of person, like I said, that doesn't really like corny things. And that might work for you, because you are coming up with this Capricorn energy where you could be a little bit more serious than them. With the Page of Swords in reverse, I did kind of get, they could be a bit immature sometimes, but that could be a lot of things. That could be like they have a sarcastic, immature sense of humor, or, you know, that could kind of bleed into the relationship. I am getting either way, though, that in terms of personality, you guys both are mature, but that might manifest differently, right? Because, right, like if you think about it, if you're super mature because you had to grow up fast, that could be why you're both showing up like that. But one person could just be naturally a bit more planned and I can't say that word, more planned, and someone that likes to do things with a precise method. And I'm getting that's you. You definitely are showing up as someone that could be a little bit more nitpicky or overthinking. You could have very compulsive tendencies, or have an obsessive mind. And your person seems to be someone that likes to focus on a goal, but they also, I think they value you, because it does seem like you guys have a stable relationship. It seems like you are someone that they can think of in their childhood, or when it comes to like someone they could go to for their emotions if they needed to. Like, I do feel like a very strong presence between you and your best friend in that way. Even if you aren't super emotional with each other, I do feel like to them, you are a stable force for them. I keep hearing force. I don't know why. And for you, I feel like you are the type of person that makes this person expand their mind. They may be a bit more stubborn in a lot of ways. And so I feel like you might push them to see things differently. And if they are someone that gets caught up in their emotions and is not as logical at times, I feel like you bring that to the table. You teach them how to create a plan and how to be a bit more practical and mature in their everyday life, if that makes sense. You might be someone that works very, very hard, and they definitely have picked up that from you, or that might be something that you've rubbed off on them in that way. Yeah, definitely, because I did see you had that 10 of Wands. Okay, now this is the overall vibe of the friendship. Pisces in reverse. Wow, intimacy, intuition, and compassion in reverse. So it could be right now that for you and your friend, while you guys may have a very strong relationship, that when it comes to talking about your feelings with one another, there is a big block there. I don't feel like you guys may share too many intimate moments with one another. It might be very hard sometimes for you guys to read what each other's feelings are as well. So that could lead to jumping to conclusions or being a bit standoffish with one another, because I am getting a lot of like earth energy, which can kind of come off as a bit more harsh or cold, just because emotions and stuff is not necessarily the first thing on their mind. It does seem like that it is the first thing on your person's mind, but they may like deny that side of themselves. And you may be someone that has Pisces or 12th house placements. you do seem to be a bit more introverted and introspective type of person. So that might be where you guys butt heads. Okay, yeah. Interesting. All right, so that was our Heavenly Bodies deck. We're going to move on now to the Osho Zen deck here. Oh. What I did want to do was get an energy check for you both one more time by splitting the deck. So let's do that before I move on. And then we will. All right, I'm going to shuffle just once. 1, 2, 3. Oh, fuck. One just fell down there. We'll get this and add it to one more to describe the overall energy, and then we'll split the deck. Overall energy, Saturn in reverse. What did I say? I said Saturn. That sits here with the Capricorn. Saturn in reverse, it says, feels restricted, experience, struggle, learning, hard work, and patience. But it came out in reverse here. So you guys may actually have a lot of fun together, but not have a super intimately emotional connection. If that makes sense. Like, this might not be, like, although they are your best friend, you might not talk to them a lot about your feelings, or this could be vice versa. Okay, now let's split the deck here. You're going to be on the left and they're going to be on the right. You're coming up as Chiron, hurt and heal. So you're definitely someone that has gone through a lot, and you could also be someone that helps this person heal themselves in a way. And then for them, they have water. I said they could have strong water placements, strong water, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio placements. Okay. Spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. So your person could be someone that is very intuitive, but I am getting that they might not really focus on that part of themselves. Like, that's not, if you ask them about it, that's not something that they would talk about as one of their gifts. They do seem to be very gifted. This could be something that you try to get them to see more in themselves as well, because I do see house 9 for your position, which talks a lot about spiritual growth. And it's in reverse here, describing the relationship between you both. So you could be someone that opened them up to that. Interesting. All right. So there's that. Let's move on. Let's move on now to our Osho Zen deck. So let's do the energy check now. Osho Zen. Energy check. You versus them. This is going to describe more how you guys complement each other based on the separate lives that you have lived. So this will describe you and your life and kind of like who you were before this connection and how it contributes to the connection now. So you have compromise in reverse with 6 here. And for them, they have, oh wait, you know what? I actually would like to shuffle this like I did last time. So just one quick shuffle. All right, now let's split it. You versus them. So they have the outsider in reverse and courage. Yeah, I do think that you are a very, very, very strong person. Courage. And then they have the outsider 5 in reverse. Look at this kid. It's like, oh, this is like the 5 of Pentacles, I feel like. Kind of reminds me of the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Damn, I feel like you are someone who's very strong. You are someone that may have came from a very poor home or a really like difficult life, because this is like a flower being bloomed out of just crushed rocks. You could be like a diamond in the rough type of person. Like, you really could have gone through a lot, but you show up as someone who's very courageous and strong. And that's what you bring to this friendship. And then for your person, they have the outsider in reverse. So I do feel like your person could have, your best friend, they could have been very neglected as a child or abused as a child. Trigger warning, I'm so sorry. But yeah, your person could have really experienced a very hard life as a child. They could have seen some really rough things as a kid as well. Okay. All right. So that was the energy check for how you guys complement each other. So to say how that would make you guys complement one another, I feel like you you show this person what it's like to overcome adversity and to not let the things that you've been through take away your spirit and take away your love. I feel like you're coming off as a very loving person, a very compassionate and kind of like give her helper energy, right? Because you have that Hermit card and they have the Knight of Pentacles. This makes me feel like this is someone that really, really, really pushes themselves into work, or kind of maybe putting their emotions on the back burner. And I think that you show this person how much courage it takes to be an emotional person, to be spiritual, to connect to your intuition, and be introspective and look at yourself in a deeper way and look at your own faults. I think that you show this person that, as well as a more mature and as well as like you show them a balance between work and emotions. I think work and spirituality. So that's interesting. We're gonna look a little bit more now into the way you guys grew up and how it comes out in the relationship or the friendship. Damn, that almost spun around. That spun around when I put it down. So I feel like that could mean maybe it needs to be a different way, but we'll see. All right, so this is the life you lived without this person. Your life, your background, your relationships, the type of relationships and friendships you had before this person or just in general. Okay. Laziness in reverse. Yeah. I think that you are someone that, like I said, that, and here, another 9. This came out right over house 9. You're definitely a very spiritual person. You are someone that teaches people and expands your friends' minds. And you really don't like friendships that don't have an equal give and take, is what I'm hearing. You don't like people that are lazy. You don't like people that aren't willing to put in effort, but you also don't like people that aren't willing to change. But I'm hearing that that is the type of people that have gravitated towards you, the types of friendships you've had in the past, or people that weren't willing to change for you, weren't willing to make the friendship work by seeing their own faults. Okay. And that might have taught you a way to become a little bit more compassionate, to try and help people get where you see their potential in a more softer and calm way. Now, as for your person, they have stress 7 in reverse. So I do feel like it's very similar for them, that their friendships or relationships in the past have caused them a lot of stress, or you know, they try to or tend to gravitate towards friendships, like I said, that aren't very emotional, try to keep things very lighthearted. Yeah, I am feeling like they are used to friendships that aren't very equal compared to you. They might be used to friendships that bring a little bit more drama. And I feel like you being the more stable person with this kind of Capricorn energy, that you, your friendship is very different than the friendship that they have with anybody else for that reason. Now, this is also the type of life and background that you've had that contributes to this friendship. So this is isolation with the number 3. I do feel like you might have been a very big loner. Like I said, with this Hermit card here and the isolation card, I feel like you guys have experienced probably like being bullied or not, just not being very welcomed by others. I feel like especially in your childhood, I think it could have been very hard for you to make friends. And that's why you have this like Capricorn energy where I feel like you just were like, all right, well, I'm just going to be smart. I'm just going to go after my goals. And I think this person saw that or sees that in you, and they really admire that in you. And then for them, for your best friend, they have postponement in reverse. Again, another 4 on this card in reverse. So like I said, I think that this person is a very emotional and intuitive person. They could have very strong Cancer placements, right? But they deny that part of themselves. This is a type of person who could be very impatient. They could be very impatient. They could have lost people in their childhood. They could have lost a maternal figure or a woman in their life, or just seen really rough things with their mother in their childhood. So I think that contributes a lot to why they don't connect so much to their emotional part of themselves. Their mother could have had very like sporadic feelings, or just kind of showed them that it's best to just detach from emotions altogether than to feel them. And yeah, I think that's definitely a difference in you guys. Okay, and then this is the overall energy comparison in reverse. And here's that 5 again, like what your person had on their card. So like I said, there's nothing like the friendship that you two have. Your friend has never had a friend like you before. And they, you know, they might not say it, but they really appreciate you, I feel like. Okay, now next we're going to talk about what difficulties come up in, right? Because this is kind of like how you guys complement each other. You are someone that is very giving. You're not lazy in friendships, and you're very willing to take the burden off of your friends' back and try and help them transform themselves. Your person is a very lighthearted person. They may be someone that you can laugh and spend a good time with, and they don't force you to be too emotional, right? So that's kind of like the good part of your friendship. Now we're going to look at the difficulties that may come up according to you both. And yeah, let's start with the energy check. We're going to use our Panther deck. I'm going to shuffle it once and then split it. All right, energy check and split. 1, 2, 3. You're on the left, they're on the right. This is you, nightmare. The difficulties, nightmare. It says suffering, darkness, and persecution. Damn. And they have fright in reverse. Depression, phobias, and paranoia. Wow. The difficulties, I think you both might go through depression. I think that your person, like I said, they don't communicate it as much as you do. You seem to be someone that is a bit more open about, you know what, this is what's difficult, because like I said, I feel like you guys don't have a very emotional connection, and that is where the difficulties in this relationship come from. I feel like you both go through a lot of sadness apart from each other. And right now it doesn't seem like you are a shoulder for each other to cry on. You know this about each other, but it almost feels like to you, whenever you express your emotions or things, that you feel like you're being persecuted for it. And I think it's because your person, like I said, they try to keep things very light, and they don't like to get very deep into the darkness, right? Because they have fright in reverse here. So they try to ignore it. They try to ignore the things that make them afraid and paranoid and sad and depressed. And you want to talk about it. That might be what you need to release. And that might be something that you're trying to show this person. But they don't, that's just not really how they work, or that's not how they want to work, right? So let's look a little bit more into what I mean by that. As I said, we're using our Panther Oracle deck here. I feel like I said earlier, you are a very compassionate and welcoming person, and that could be something that made this person gravitate towards you. Like, you could have complimented this person on how funny they are, or how like, you know, they could be like Leo placements. They could have a big childlike spirit, or be very funny and loving and generous and loyal. But once you get to know them, and this person might have felt like, your best friend might have felt like you saw that in them, and that's where their connection to you kind of, or their bond to you formed. Okay, so this is again, this is going to describe how you have lived in the life and types of relationships that you have had in your life that might impact this friendship. So here we have confinement. Yes, confinement, captivity, tolerance, and unfreedom. Yeah, I do feel like you both have experienced a lot in your childhood. You could have really, you know, this could go a lot of ways. Like, you guys could have, as a child, like, been in JDC, like juvenile detention. Your parents might have confined you, like never let you out, or were very strict with you. Your parents might have asserted a lot of control over you and made you feel very trapped. And this could be something that has carried on into your personal life. You might feel very trapped sometimes in not knowing which way to turn. But I do feel like this stems from your childhood, right? Because we have 9 here in reverse here, and 9 is all about freedom and expansion. So you could be the type of person that really feels like you need to get away from your home and want to experience things, but for some reason, the sadness and depression that you experience comes from struggling to realize that in your own life. And I feel like the difficulties in the relationship so far, what it comes up is that this is something that really bothers you, but you can't really speak about this with your best friend because they don't seem to be as open to talking about the things that you really need to get off your chest, the darkness that you really feel, right? Because you have the Hermit, and I feel like this makes you overthink a lot. This kind of gives me like 9 of Swords energy, where it's like you just have so much paranoia and anxiety that you need to relinquish in some way. And this could be something that you've been wanting to lean on your best friend about, but just haven't been able to, because they've been trying to keep themselves as stress-free as possible. And for them, this is how they've grown up, and the sorts of relationships they've formed and things like that, that makes things difficult in your friendship. Okay. Okay. On the bottom here, it says stability, harmony, and acceptance. So yeah, I definitely feel like your friendships that you had and relationships you had before this friendship were very different than this person. You could have had a very strict family, and your parent and your person's family could have just let them do whatever. Like I said, they could have been very neglected. They could have had to do everything, right? And that's why they try not to be stressed. But I'm also getting with this okay card that this person has gotten very used to just pretending like everything is okay. And that's why they don't talk about things. They feel like it's better to keep things in harmony by just pretending or not talking about the emotions, ignoring them. And to you, that makes you feel even more trapped and stuck in your head. So that's where the difficulties come, because you guys deal with things differently. And more about you, self-love. Oh, that's lovely. You really love yourself. And I think this is something that you, this says self-concern, self-healing, and independence. Independence, right next to this Capricorn card here, next to isolation as well. Isolation and self-love. So I think through the past relationships that you've experienced where people have iced you out, bullied you, made you feel whatever type of way, you learn how to love yourself. But that might also create difficulties in the friendship, right? Because you may come off as someone who's very stern, and that could be why this person doesn't really talk about their emotions with you. It's almost like, you know, because Capricorns, they work very hard. They come off as very stern, but they have a lot underneath them. And I feel like that's the type of person you are. You may come off as very hard and cold or whatever it is, but you are very deep and feel things very deeply and need people to talk to. And it might just be very hard for you to get that or say that in this friendship. I'm also getting that while you have been isolated and maybe excluded in friend groups or in school or whatever have you, through that darkness, you have found how to love yourself, how to heal yourself, how to be an independent person. But that could also be what makes things difficult in this friendship, because you struggle to lean on this person. You might need to be a little bit more forward with when you're not feeling so great with this person, so that they, you know, because it's like a relationship requires both people to care for one another. And while it might be great for this person to try and relieve that stress by not talking about their emotions, if they are your best friend, they should be able to listen to you and hear you out. And so you may need to kind of relay that to this person and kind of get them to see it in a way where it's like you feel like you're not getting a best friend out of them in a way, because you don't get to talk to them the way that you need to. And for them, this is their background and things like that. So they have trap in reverse. Yeah, like I said, you have confinement for your background, but they have trap in reverse. Like I said, and on the trap in reverse, this is the opposite of victim, opposite of trick, and opposite of allure. So I feel like your person, like I said, they are very intuitive. They can tell when someone is bad. So they might not have the same experiences with you as like having bad friends that maybe don't give and take as equal with you, or that isolated you or whatever, because they can read people very well. And I think that's why they gravitated towards you. But it also makes things difficult because you are very experienced to people putting you in a box. Yeah, especially in your friendships, putting you in a box, making you have to do things a certain way, even if you're not really okay with it. And that's because this person tries to do things their own way. They don't want to feel trapped and confined. But in doing so, in enforcing their own kind of like agenda and the way that they want things to go, they make you feel even more trapped than you already do, because you don't get to express yourself fully with them, especially in an emotional way. And this person, your best friend might be the type of person that once you have to talk about emotions a whole hell of a lot, they feel trapped and they don't want to do it. So I can see where the difficulties come. And this is the overall energy. Homeless in reverse. Yeah. Both of you guys could have experienced like, you know, having to move away from the home quite a lot. You could have experienced homelessness, or, you know, your families could have like been laid off when when you guys were kids. You know, the recession might have affected both of your families, or a recession, or maybe like a world war or something like that, civil war or something like that. Both of your families and experiences, I feel like have brought a lot of castaway sort of energy and poverty in a lot. That can be literal or in a metaphorical way, right? But I do feel like that's why you guys make a good friendship, because you understand what that is like to experience. However, I do feel like the way that you both deal with what you've experienced, you are the type of person that likes to talk about it, get it out in the air, and relinquish it. And your person seems to kind of keep it in. Or maybe they just do this in private. Maybe they're just more private with it than you are, or than what you need. Okay. Okay. So finally, we are going to kind of get my thoughts from it all and tell you guys what I think. And we're gonna do that by getting you guys. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all. Give me a second. I just dropped something, and it just kind of took me by surprise. But we're gonna get you guys some advice from our Moonology. I think this is our Moonology. Yeah, Moonology Oracle deck. Okay, so this is some advice for you both in your friendship that you could use. Okay, I think I'll pull advice for you and advice for them. I'll pull 2 for both of you. Okay. Sorry, they all flipped around, so I'm trying to make sure they're evil. Okay, evil. Why did I say that? Okay, so we're gonna use our Moonology Oracle deck here. 2 advices, first for you and then for them. One just flipped, so that's 1. It's yours and then theirs. The advice for you guys to kind of better this friendship. And this isn't to say that you guys don't have a good friendship. As I said, there are some really great qualities there. But there's always work that can be done, okay? And you know that because you're showing up as this kind of Capricorn, work hard energy, earth sign energy, even if you're not an earth sign. Okay, so the advice for you, have faith in your dreams. Yeah, hardworking, working towards a goal. The advice for you in general is to realize you're on the right track. And also, you are good enough. So the way that things might be right now, also it says Virgo here. So yeah, you could be a Virgo. The advice here is to recognize that you are a good friend and to know that you are appreciated and that the way that you want things to be is within reach. You just are going to have to keep on this path that you've been trying. I think that you've been trying really hard to kind of get this friendship to be a little bit different emotionally. And the advice here is telling you to have faith in that because it is within reach. And for your person, their advice is to meditate and to contemplate. Yeah, so they really do need to reconnect to that more emotional part of themselves. This card has fish on it. So Pisces, water energy, emotional energy again. And then for their second advice, look at the bigger picture. Yeah, your person is being called to kind of look at your guys' friendship and to see it for what it is, to acknowledge what it is, and, you know, meditate and contemplate on it and to see how they can make it better. They do need to be a little bit more introspective, like I said, and I think that this is something that they are learning from you slowly. So be patient with them, and I think that's what is to come next for you guys' friendship. So thank you so much, pile number 1. If you made it this far, I really appreciate your being here. If this resonated, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what parts made most sense to you. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. You chose pile number 2, so you also have the Moon card, which is the first kind of energy check regarding you and the relationship between you and your best friend. Thank you so much for being here. I'll leave all the links that you guys need in the description box below. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I like to start off every reading with an energy check. And this is just for me to kind of see the personality of you and your person in comparison to one another. Okay, we're going to be using our Modern Witch tarot deck here to do the energy check here. So I'm going to shuffle this one time full through, and then I will split it. You will be on the left and they will be on the right. Okay. Splitting the deck here. You are showing up as the Page of Wands. Okay. I like this. I feel like you are a kid at heart. You're probably very creative and someone who would rather get out there. You might be someone that puts themselves out there quite often. You're not afraid to take risks or to try something new. In fact, that seems to be something that excites you. Now, as for your person, the type of person that your best friend is the King of Wands. Oh my God. You may actually look up to your person in a lot of ways for that. Your best friend might be someone that, has given you a lot of confidence, that has shown you, the beauty in being confident and putting yourself first and trying new things and expanding yourself. I do feel like, your best friend could be older than you. They could be a bit more, aggressive than you. They're definitely someone that is very strategic and admired by many. They may have a lot of suitors. They may be someone that has dated quite a lot. And you're coming off as a little bit, it's like, although this is the Page of Wands, I am getting a little bit more shy energy, but someone that has like overcome that. So that could be the type of person you are. Now, underneath the Page of Wands, we have the Fool. Yeah, like I said, someone that is allowing themselves new experiences and to try new things and to be creative. And underneath that, we have the Five of Swords in reverse. So I really do feel like you're not the type of person to gloat. You don't really, I'm not getting, you're not a very competitive person at all. It's very possible that you have been like teased or kind of bullied by other people with that Five of Swords energy. I feel like people have not always been very fair to you, and you try to be fair for that reason. And your best friend probably is very aware of that and may have experienced that at some point in their life as well. But their energy is showing up as the King of Wands, the Eight of Swords. Wow. Yeah, like I said, they could have experienced that as well. The Eight of Swords and the Four of Pentacles. Your best friend is definitely someone who's very, very, very stable. They're stable. They may even be stubborn to a fault sometimes. But one thing that I now know about your person, which is not visible on the surface to anybody, is that they actually deal with a lot of anxiety and a lot of mental stress that they don't tell a lot of people about. Probably you're probably the only one that knows about this. And they really trust you to show them that side of you, of themselves, because I don't think that people really see that in them. And people may label your person as one thing, and they're the complete opposite is what I'm getting. Your best friend is the complete opposite of what, maybe people have spread rumors about them. I'm definitely getting that your best friend is the type of person that is always, being gossiped about, unfortunately. But they do come off as very strong and independent and like a go-getter. They could be very charming as well. You both could have fire placements. You don't have to. I am kind of getting Aries placements from your best friend. They could have an Aries rising, but they don't have to. You also have swords, so they could have Gemini or Virgo. Eight of Swords is kind of giving me that energy. Gemini or Virgo placements. They could have just air placements. But I'm also getting fixed with that Four of Pentacles, specifically Taurus, but it doesn't have to be. It could be any of the fixed signs. I'm getting that you personally could have cardinal placements, so that's Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. Yeah, with that Five of Swords. Yeah, I definitely am feeling kind of like Libra energy there for you. Oh, actually, let me flip this around because this is usually how I prefer to do it. You on top and your best friend, or the person the reading is about, is on the bottom. But for this reading, it's your best friend. Okay, so if this is resonating, please stay here because this is the reading for you. If you felt some messages in a different pile, you can go and watch that as well. Keep in mind, roles can be reversed here. I will try my hardest now to stay in alignment with the energy check that I have just done. But if you do find yourself resonating a little bit more to the other side, keep in mind that that can be possible because our relationships are a reflection of us, right? So, but also I'm channeling two people, two energies that aren't even here. So help me out by taking everything with a grain of salt and just being open-minded with all of this. Thank you. Okay. So for you, we've done the energy check now, and now we're going to start using our Heavenly Bodies Oracle deck here to see more about you. So this could be your sun sign, your big 3 or big 6 astrology placements for either of you. This is you and this is them. This is you and this is them. But we're also going to see possible synastry or composite chart placements for you and your best friend. And then we'll see the overall energy in the friendship. This is also going to show me what sorts of difficulties that may come up based off of your guys' different personalities, but also how you guys complement each other as a friendship. So let's start off with that using the astrology bodies. We'll do another split deck here. So you and that versus them. You versus them. All right, this is you. House 7, profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. Interesting. I kind of got that energy for your person, but you may be someone who is very, very, you may be like a hopeless romantic. You may have had a lot of relationships or, you know, a significant amount of relationships that have truly affected you. You may be someone that doesn't shy away from intimacy and that sees the value in relationships, friendships, and therefore you seem to really value this friendship as well. With House 7 coming out, again, with House 7 coming out, yes, this is making me feel like you are a really good friend. Having House 7, this is making me feel like you may have 7 health placements, you may have Libra placements. I think I said that actually. Libra placements, right? I don't know if I said that for you or your person though. Let me double check. I was kind of getting Libra energy. Yeah, I think you might have Libra or 7th house placements. You may just be someone that has a lot of Venus and influence on you as well in your chart. But you seem to be a very charismatic person. And you seem to be a very understanding person, and that's definitely something that you bring to the relationship. But on the same side, you could be someone that may put other people's needs over your own too much, and we'll see how that comes out in this friendship. Now for here, your person has Aquarius in reverse. And I did say I was getting a little bit more fixed and stable energy from them. So I'm not surprised that they had this Aquarius card come out. On this card, it says originality, philanthropy, and progressive imagination. Yes. So I feel like your person, although they are very confident and they do seem to be a very strategic person, I do feel like they don't really have time for bullshit. This is someone who is a no bullshit mentality. And they may, as strong as they are, they may not really welcome the, what's that word? It's not creative, but erratic side of them. I do feel like your person is someone who may make quick decisions or be a sort of disruptor energy, someone that really wants to be different and individual, but it's almost like they don't want to admit it. That's very Aquarian, like, right? Like Aquarians or Aquariuses, they love to be different, but they hate to make it corny, right? So I feel like that's your person. That's your best friend. Now, let's look at this. This could be your sun or your big 6. So you could have Scorpio or 8th house placements here. Like I said, you are someone that has this intensity. You could be a bit explosive. You could have a lot of energy sometimes that you feel like you have to figure out what to do with that Page of Wands. You are also someone that does not like to be lied to in friendships or relationships in general. You really value truth and fairness. But at the same time, you are someone that is not afraid to let go of someone if need be to get what you truly deserve. And as for your person, they're showing up with House 12. It's very interesting. They're showing up with House 12 as someone who's very spiritual, transcendent, someone that believes in karma, but also someone that could be of large service and healing energy to other people. It's just, this is a very conflicting energy from this King of Wands. And that's what I was saying. I feel like your person deep down is a very soft person. When you peel back everything, they are a very soft person. But it's almost like this is something that they try, or maybe they don't try not to, but they don't connect to. This is interesting because if you were drawn to pile 1, this is similar energy, but I am getting a difference than that. So take everything with a grain of salt, but similar to pile 1 for their best friend. But I am getting a little bit more so in terms of your person, that your best friend may be someone that deals with masses. Like they may have a big social media following, or they may do whatever they do for work or something like that is something that they may not explain this way, but seems to be something very spiritual, or something that can be very healing. Like, for example, they could be a teacher and just say, I love to teach, I love to learn. But they don't understand that their ability of being a very calm or whatever type of teacher can be very healing for the children they work with. So, yeah, take that however it resonates, but I am getting that sort of energy from your person. And I think that's why you guys connect, because those are water placements, Scorpio and house 12. House 12 is a water house, and Scorpio is a water sign. So I do feel like you both, although you may have a lot of energy and come off as something to others, deep down you are very deep and in tune people, and you have an ability of reading people very, very well. And so does your person, but they may deny it. Like they may deny their spiritual ability sometimes, or question it. You seem to be a bit more like, yeah. Okay. Now, this is also some ways you can complement and or have difficulties with one another. So in your mind, you have Jupiter in reverse for grow and expand. Very interesting, because this is literally one of the cards that came out for pile 1. And it was in the position of you, the person watching this. So yeah, you could be drawn to that and have some real messages there as well. But I was saying I was feeling a bit of a fixed energy from your person, from your best friend, but you could also have fixed placements as well, because we have had Scorpio or 8th house come out right now. And so I feel like as deep and in tune as you are, sometimes you could close yourself off to opportunities, which is really opposite of your character. So you could be someone that may go through like periods of like depression or just stagnation, right? Because the Fool is kind of like Uranus energy to me sometimes when I see it. And so I do feel like you could have like bursts of energy, but on the flip side, you could be someone that is a little bit more calm when you're not in that state. You could also be someone that gets stuck in your head a lot with that two, because right underneath I'm seeing peeking out the 2 of Swords in reverse with Jupiter in growth and expand in reverse. I think that's why I say you may look up to your best friend in a way, because they are showing up as the King of Wands, which, like I said, they may have had a very tough life and a lot of responsibilities, but they make it look good, right? And they make it look like a piece of cake. And so I feel like that's, but I am also kind of getting this, like, your person could be very controlling sometimes and maybe a bit selfish. So that's where you guys might butt heads. I feel like this is something that comes out unconsciously for your person, though, because they do have house 12. So I do feel like a lot of things about your person are almost inaccessible to them. So you see them, but they might not. Like I said, because you're a very good judge of character. You have a very big intensity to you. Okay, and for them, air. They could have air placements as well. You could have synastry in the air houses. So that being the 3rd house, the 7th house, or the 11th house. Your person is ultimately, or your best friend is ultimately someone who is open-minded, but objective at the same time, and who learns from their mistakes. And so that's why I say you may look up to them, because as tuned in as they are, or as you are, this person may be a little bit more, they may see things from a more logical standpoint than you, and have an ability to blend their logic and their passion at the same time. And that may be something that you really value in them as a person. Okay, now this is also this is the overall energy of your friendship. And this is a combination of both of these energies together to describe it. So that is house 3 in reverse, which talks a lot about early learning. I just said learning from mistakes, early learning. And I said, your person might work with kids. They may be a teacher, or they might not even have to work with kids. They may like post DIY videos or something. I don't know. Your best friend might just be very savvy with a lot of things. But relations, rational mind, and communication in reverse. So I do feel like despite the strength here, I am also not getting a lot of like connective energy. I'm not feeling like you guys are very like connected, if that makes sense. Like, it kind of feels like you both have your own paths and you stay in this friendship, but I haven't seen like any cups here, right? I have gotten Scorpio, which is more Plutonic and Martian energy of water. It's the more active of all of the water signs here. And I do see growth here. So it could be that your friendship has been the same way for quite some time. Take that, whatever that resonates is. If you love it, great. But if it's been stagnant, I can feel that. I do feel like you and your best friend may see things differently. You may have like Mercury signs that are in opposition or squaring each other. So what I mean by that is, okay, so you could both have fixed sign Mercuries, so like Taurus and Scorpio. Hold on. How can I explain this? How can I explain this a little better? So there's Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius for fixed. Am I missing one? In Leo, yes. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius are all fixed signs, right? So let's say that you have a Leo Mercury and your best friend has a Taurus Mercury. While you both may be very stubborn, the way that you see things is different. And the one with the Leo Mercury may, relate things back to themselves way more. And the one with the Taurus Mercury may see things based off of the principle rather than what they personally feel over the situation. So I do feel like while you both have similar energies, the way that you see things is different. And so it definitely impacts the way that you communicate with each other, your ability to truly see one another, or learn one another as you both grow and transform into different people. So like I said, the relationship could be pretty stagnant right now because you feel like you both are changing. And I said that earlier, you could be on separate paths and it could be like, damn, how do I keep this friendship the way it is, but also feel this pull to change it because you both are ever-changing people. So that creates some difficulties for you both. Now I'm going to shuffle this one, split the deck. We're using our Osho Zen for the next part, and this is going to show the negative aspects, right? So I now see how you both can complement each other based off of your own, well, actually, we're going to look deeper into how you complement each other right now. What I see now is that in your view of this relationship, it is stagnant. And you could even be questioning whether or not you need to let go of this person, whether or not your best friend has been honest with you about things, whether or not this relationship is transforming the way that it's supposed to. And in terms of your person, they could be very... I think that your person or your best friend is actually... they feel this friendship a little bit more healing than you do. So you could be watching this because you are having issues that you can't really communicate with your best friend right now, or you feel like they're not listening, because they do seem like someone who's a bit hard-headed, someone who likes to have control and therefore may not always listen to you. But you are showing up with the Scorpio energy, which is obviously not going to tolerate that. So I can see why you might butt heads, right? So I'm seeing how you both view the situation, and I am kind of getting a more like laissez-faire feeling from your person, almost like, I don't want to say that they feel like they never do anything wrong, but in their mind, there's not really anything to question with the friendship. They feel stable in the friendship. They feel open-minded about it. They feel good about it. But I think for you, there is something in the back of your mind that is telling you that things need to change. Yeah. Okay, so let's shuffle once. Jesus fucking Christ. I will look at those. It'll be one, you versus them, but first let's do energy check. First, let's do the energy check. All right, I'm going to split the deck. You are on the left and they are on the right. So this is how you both complement each other based off of your own backgrounds and relationships that you have formed in the past. Participation 4. Oh, lovely. You are I think I said this earlier. This kind of makes me feel similar to this house 7. Did I see house 7? That came out. I don't know where it went. I think it was when I split the deck. Yeah, when I split the deck, you had house 7. Where's the card? Let me show you. When I split the deck, you had house 7. And it kind of makes me feel like this participation where I think you're a very loving person. I see you as someone who is like, you don't like to make people feel left out. You may be very emotional or very intuitive. You are someone that people feel at home around you. I definitely am getting like kind of like empathic, motherly energy from you. And for your best friend, they are showing up as maturity. I said this. They could be a bit more mature than you. You could look up to them in a lot of ways. They could even be older than you. Wow. That's great. That's great. Because that makes me feel like you're willing to work with this person, with your best friend, and your best friend seems to be mature. Damn, I hate to do a reading and like feel like I'm looking for problems, but I am going to try and see, like I am seeing how you both complement each other now, and it's really great. But I also want to see where those difficulties that you might be looking for are coming up. So again, I got these 2 cards that just came out, so I will look at them, you versus them. So you, nothingness. Like I said, I feel like you guys are feeling like, where is this going? I am kind of waiting for this change. But at the same time, that nothingness card is a good card in this deck. It is a card of someone that represents that nothing, someone that knows that in this life, nothing really matters. Someone that doesn't place too much value on material things or superficial things. Yeah. And for your person, they got We Are the World in reverse. I did say that. I said, I felt like there is a little bit of a controlling energy to them. And if it's not controlling, it's detached and very focused. The 10 is like Capricorn energy. On your card, you had 5. So you could be like a kid at heart. And I think I said that in the beginning of the reading. But for your person, they are showing up with this 10, which is earth sign, ambitious, and goal-oriented energy. But it's in reverse here. And on the card, it says We Are the World. And it's showing people that are in unison, kind of happy together, but it's in reverse. So I feel like your person may be someone that sticks to themselves. They may, have a lot of relationships, but none that really last. Or they may have a lot of relationships, but they seem like the relationships that they have a superficial nature to them. So I do kind of see now how you guys may differ in a lot of ways. Like your person may do things from a more practical standpoint. Like, yes, I'm choosing this person in my life because they would be a good father, not because I think we would fall in love and be good romantically, right? But you seem like someone who may be a little bit different in that way. And so it's like you both admire them. You both admire each other for being different, right? You have that 4 come out, which showed that participation, your ability to really empathize with other people. But for them, they had We Are the World in reverse, but there's still a 10 on there. So I think that your person has this ability to really put themselves first. Your best friend has an ability to say, no, this is what I need to do to look out for myself. And I think you admire that in them. They really are giving off like boss energy. And it's not that you're not giving that off, right? You definitely contribute to this friendship just as much as they do. But I am seeing that admiration. Every time I try and find a difficulty, I feel this like, but even still, I like that about them sort of thought running through the back of my head. So now we're going to look deeper into the background that you both have in your own lives and the types of friendships and relationships that you've had in the past that may contribute to how you show up in this relationship now. So this is the more knit and gritty part of yourself here. So let's see. You have trust in reverse. I did say that. And it's funny because this is here with the Scorpio card. And sometimes Scorpios can be, or 8th house placements can be people that really struggle to trust others quickly. But I did say that you are a very good judge of character. And I think that is it's very possible that you have had people around you that have lied to you, that have snaked you out, that have stabbed you in the back. And so you may not be very quick to trust people, but once you do, you kind of free fall. So it's like an all or nothing with you is what I'm getting. I think once you have really attached and bonded to someone, you are very real and honest with them about what you feel. But if for whatever reason you feel like you can't trust someone or you get bad vibes from them, you you don't open up emotionally. And it's kind of feeling like that is where you're at now with this relationship, because house 3 in reverse is coming up for the overall vibe. But this could also be not specific to this friendship, but just a possible issue that you and your person both deal with. Your best friend and you both may have difficulty communicating with each other or other people just in general. This could be from something in the childhood, or just a difficulty. You may have like social interaction issues or difficulties, and that may bleed into your ability to trust others and to have intimate bonds with them very easily. I'm not saying that you don't have friendships, but I definitely feel like you feel like relationships or friendships are work because it takes you quite some time to trust another person. So as open and expansive as you are, I do feel like there is a part of you that may hold yourself back, right? And then for them, let's see, Thunderbolt in reverse. Yeah, I did say that earlier. It's like, I feel like your person is a bit more stable, because this is like the Tower card, but this is like the Tower card for me, but it's in reverse here. So it's kind of making me feel like your person, they don't change as much as you. And it's because of a disconnect to their true deepest part of themselves with this house 12 here. And it's like, although that seems not healthy, it is part of their superpower to be able to not think about themselves so deeply to a point of mental exhaustion, or at least this is how they come off. But they did have the 8 of Swords there, so I do feel like your person thinks quite a lot, but they may think themselves into a point of paralysis, and that's why they come off as very stable and having everything that they want. But I think it's rooted in fear, honestly. Your best friend may be someone that really doesn't make a lot of personal changes in their life because they can't control the outcome. So as domineering, as bad bitch, boss energy, whatever, as they are, there is a part of them that still sits in that fear. And I feel like this also affects the way that they emotionally connect with you verbally. They may be someone that is not as soft with their words as you are. Even though that they do have that soft nature to them that you may see sometimes, they tend to stick to a little bit more of a harsh exterior, I feel like. And for you, you have the Dream in reverse over Jupiter in reverse. Yeah, I do feel like for you, you may be someone that has always dreamt of having like a best friend that you could do everything with, or that you could grow with, that you could travel with, that you could, try different things with, things that you would be too afraid to do on your own, perhaps. But it's almost like your person doesn't want to do any of the things that you want to do. And I think that's why you may find yourself questioning whether or not you should still have trust or faith in the friendship, because it's almost like you guys are the same but different, and blending same but different energy can be difficult if you don't know how to communicate with one another. And it seems like that is the difficulty between you and them, is just understanding the way both of you think. You think differently here. And for them, they have totality with 5. I feel like your person is someone that may see things very black and white. And it's not that they're not an open-minded person, but it's almost like once they've made up their mind about something, they don't double back. Or they try to avoid it, because once they do, they spin into this spiral. But for you, oh, funny, you got the Moon here right when I lifted it up. Oh, that's so funny. You got the Moon card here on your pile right when I lifted it up, and there's the Moon card for what was the card for your reading. But anyway, you do have the 2 of Swords in reverse here. I said earlier that you may be someone that overthinks, and people may know this about you, or you may communicate this about yourself rather than them, who doesn't like to let people see them sweat. Your best friend doesn't like to let people see them sweat, and so I feel like they put on a very harsh exterior. But for you, I feel like for you, because you really value that truth and being your own intense self, regardless of the circumstances, you don't do that. And that's where you guys butt heads, I think. It's almost like this person struggles to be real with you, or as real with you as you need them to be, because it's like once they've landed on an opinion about something, they don't discuss it anymore. They don't want to rip on it or dwell on it anymore. They just want to move on from it. But for you, that's just not how you work. You have this energy to you where it's like, I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to investigate it. I want to talk about it. I want to tear it to shreds until there's nothing confusing about it left. And for them, they're like, there's no point in that. And I think that's to them, that's them being more mature than you. Like, there's no point in going back and forth about every little thing because we have an end goal in mind. That's your person's mentality, your best friend's mentality. And for you, there's no accomplishing those goals if you're not thorough. So interesting differences in the way you both view life and things and how this has impacted your relationships. I do feel like you have some trust issues. They may still be rampant or they may be something that you have gotten over, but I do see that in you. And I feel like for your person, they have had a lot of relationships that didn't go anywhere. And that could also be friendships as well. Okay. They may even have people around them that they don't even trust, but they keep around for whatever reason. And you are the type of person, you may even ask them, like, why do you still hang out with these people? Because you have this more Scorpio energy to you where it's like, I don't want anybody around me that's not for me. And I want to know exactly who's not for me. Whereas your person, like I said, they have this King of Wands energy. They may have a lot of people around them at any given point. And to them, it's no point in trying to weed them out because they feel like they're going to come out eventually. So yeah, you see things differently, but at the same time, you see them the same way. And this is also adding to the overall energy for what you both bring to the table. Awareness in reverse, 7 on this card. Like I said, I do think that you both struggle to truly understand the way each other thinks and needs, your own needs in a friendship, right? Because we all have different love languages and they're not only exclusive to romantic relationships, they also play a big part in friendships. So I do think that both of you guys, it's almost like you don't see each other clearly because you're not always communicating yourself clearly or at all. I just heard that. Interesting. Okay. Now, we're going to move on from this. This was how you guys complemented each other. So I do feel like the way, in terms of how that could be something that allows you both to complement each other, with the Scorpio quality coming out for you and House 12 coming out for them, even though you both may not talk about what you truly feel explicitly with one another, you have this understanding of one another on an emotional level that is almost inexplicable. And I feel like that may have served you for as long as it did up until this moment. But now there is a call, at least in your mind, to try and change things up, to try and make things better. And I think your person is still struggling to get on board with that, because in order to do that, they would have to admit that they need to make changes. And to them, they may make them feel a little bit more vulnerable than they're used to allowing themselves to feel. So while you both complement each other, that's also where the friction comes. Now, this is going to talk a little bit more about that friction based off of your guys' own individual lives and what you've experienced, right? So this is getting close to the end of the reading. After this, I will pull some advice cards from you guys, and then we're going to close it out, pile 2. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate if you've made it this far, and if it's resonating, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments, how this resonated. If you don't want to share in the comments, you can always reach out to me personally on my website. I have a client forum where you can ask me anything, tell me anything, and it's 100% anonymous. So yeah, you guys can do that too. And I think I might start offering, like, oh, if you guys share with me, I might give you guys like a little free pick a card reading or something like that. Who knows? Okay. But let's move on to where these difficulties stem from in your own life. Illness in reverse, disease, weakness, and fragility. You may have grown up, oh God, this makes me feel very sad for you, but you may have lost people to illness when you were younger. You may have even decided to like go into a medical field or something like that for that reason. You may be someone that has dealt with a lot of people that have been in fragile states that you've helped through. But it's also possible that at any point, if you were in a fragile state, that someone may have taken advantage of that with you. And that is where your trust issues come from. You may come from a family of people that have disease run in their family, like lupus or something like that. But ultimately, this is interesting because it's kind of the vibe that I was getting from your friend as well. But I don't think that you take being in a place of weakness or fragility very easily. You are definitely someone that likes to be more firm. I am feeling a sensitive side to you, but Scorpio is the firmest sensitive of all the water signs, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you are a Scorpio. This is simply the qualities that you have, right? And I am getting that there is an energy to you where you might not say everything about yourself. You could have an illness that nobody knows about. Like you could have, grown up sick and like no one knew about it, or had like disorders or something that no one knows about, and it really influences your everyday life. And I also feel like this is something that your best friend, it might even be unaware of. Like there are a lot of things that your best friend doesn't even know about you. And I think that's why I said this, with why this awareness card is in reverse here. Because there are a lot of things that you both don't understand yet or know about one another. And you understand that and you know that. And that's why you're feeling this pull to expand with this Jupiter card here. But for them, let's see, they have stop. Yeah. Break, pause, and stagnation. Just like this Thunderbolt or Tower card in reverse here. Your person is very stubborn. And I think it's because they may have went through, your best friend may have had a very, very tumultuous childhood where things were constantly being broken or, stopped or interrupted very abruptly for them. They may have experienced a life where things were always the same and they could never have the things that they wanted or achieve the things that they wanted to because of the way that their family was or the way they grew up. And so that's why they have this energy now where it's like, no, I'm not going to worry about all the emotions and everything. No, I'm going to keep an open mind and be objective so that I don't have to sit in this anymore. I think that your person really has a difficulty. It's really weird because there's this stop card here. So it's like, and I said, I got a fixed energy from your person, which is crazy that this stop card came out, which is very like fixed energy sort of vibe. But at the same time, it's like, wow, I feel like they're very used to things being a certain way. There is this part of them in their inner core where if they feel stagnant in any way, they feel less than. And so therefore, for you to go to them and say, hey, the same thing has been happening over and over again. You keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's almost like you open a wound for them that they don't want to and or can't even see, with this house 12 sitting here in describing their personality. So, and so interesting because there's 12 on this card and it came out right here on card 12. So like I said, your person is very intuitive. They are very, whether or not they want to admit it, they are very transcendent and spiritual, and very knowing, have a knowing energy to them. But it's like they deny this part of themselves. And therefore, when you try to talk to them, when you try to talk to your best friend about any problems you may be facing, they may be a bit standoffish about it because this is something that they don't connect to in themselves. And for you, the way that you view these difficulties, you have good news in reverse, encouragement, miracle, and surprise in reverse. Like I said, I feel like you're not surprised by any of this. You see this person, you understand this person, you can read this person very well. Your best friend, you know exactly why they are the way that they are. But that's also why I think that you're questioning whether or not you should keep them around or why you should still have faith in the friendship, because it's almost like with this dream card in reverse, it's like you want so desperately for there to be a change and for you guys to have a more encouraging and or like just surprising and surprise. Yeah. They have stop in reverse, thunderbolt in reverse. I feel like you want a little, just something different. I feel like the relationship or the friendship to you has been the same thing over and over. Like you guys do the same thing over and over. And you're just very tired of that. And I think that's why that good news in reverse came out, is you're just hoping for something different. I think that for you especially, this is a theme for you, that you have experienced people that maybe have gotten complacent with you, and at some point you stop wishing for things to get better, and you recognize that in yourself now. And I think that's why you only have the Page of Wands instead of the King of Wands or like the Emperor, because it's still a process for you to keep yourself on this trajectory of not getting stagnant. So it's almost like you guys are on different, although they are coming off as a bit more mature than you. It's like, you know how old people, oh my God, and please don't come in my comments and say anything wild. I'm not hating on old people, but it's the dynamic between old and young people that everyone has seen across all cultures, different countries, whatever, where it's like the old person or the older or more mature person always feels like they have something to teach the younger person, but they have nothing to learn from the younger person, because how could they, since they've been around longer? I feel like that's the way that your person interacts with you, almost like where you could very well show them parts of themselves that they choose to ignore, but they don't want to listen to it. And that's where the frustrations and the difficulties come from, because they know that you could help them, but I feel like they don't really want to be helped in that way. But because they don't want to be helped, it's like you can't see the relationship being helped either, because it takes two to tango. And for them, the way that they view things is adventure. So this is kind of like how I said earlier. I don't feel like your best friend sees anything off about this friendship. Like, to your best friend, when they look at it, in the grand scheme of things, like, you guys do travel, you do go places, you do explore together. And I think maybe you just want a little bit more than that. You want more of it than they do. It's like how when you're in a marriage, right? And you say, well, we never go dancing. You never take me out dancing. And they go, we went dancing. We've gone dancing 3 times. And you say, but we've been married for 20 years, right? So it's like, while they do see things and they can compute the numbers and say, oh, well, I've done this for you X amount of times. For you, it's like, you don't want them to be so strategic and see things with that objective lens. You want them to understand your feelings behind it, and you want them to just do it without you having to say too much. And that's just not how they work, right? So I can see how you guys are different and where the difficulties come from. And I can also see how both of you guys can help the situation. I mean, you can choose to finally make that decision and say, hey, I don't see you changing. I don't see anything wrong with you, and I love you, but this doesn't work for me anymore. It's not growing with the type of person that I want to grow into. But you could also go around and say, no, I really do trust this friendship, and I trust that maybe this is just a slow process and I need to stop being so impatient. Overall, in terms of the overall energy that may cause difficulties here, we have the Blind card in reverse, which says awkward, unknown, and vision problems. So definitely not being able to see each other clearly, like I said, being blind to the issues right in front of you. But it can also be being blind to the good news and the good parts about this relationship that are right in front of you. If you have a history of being someone that overthinks too much, that has trouble putting faith in things, it can also mean that you may struggle to see the good in a relationship. As open and relationship oriented as you came out with that House 7 card, it's almost like you can put other people's needs too much before yourself, or you can put too much emphasis on finding a balance between whatever in a relationship, instead of just being able to admire and appreciate the differences and the imbalance that may come up, right? Because imbalance also proves helpful to transform a relationship. So as difficult as it might be, as frustrating as it might be, there is a truly underlying transformative energy to this friendship. And it may take a long time, right? Because your person is coming up with fixed sign energy. It may take a long time, but more than anything, I do think that this is a loyal friend, someone that would never steer you wrong, and that you can trust with that 4 of Pentacles. I do feel like this is a trustworthy person and someone that has good morals, especially because the King of Wands came upright. They may be a little bit controlling or selfish sometimes, but deep down there is a softer energy to them that you may see or you may need to learn how to see. And for them, they are definitely going to need to learn how to appreciate the softness in you, but also how to not make you feel bad for having it because they don't, right? Because there is this energy where it's like almost like they may talk down on you sometimes because you're so different, and that's not right either. So now I'm going to pull 2 advice cards for you and 2 advice cards for them, and then we're going to close out this reading. We're using our Moonology Oracle deck here. Okay, that's yours. Let's get one more for you. Oh. And then for them, let's get 2 advice cards for your best friend. 1. And there's that 2. Okay, so the advice for your person, and bottom of the deck, this is the advice for both of you. You are very close to achieving your goal. Like I said, maybe you guys just need to calm down a bit and recognize that it takes time for a friendship to evolve exactly where you want it to. And you might just be a bit impatient. But that's the advice for both of you, okay? Now, this advice for you here says, nothing is yet set in stone. Yeah, like I said, you guys may feel like, damn, if I don't make the changes now, it's always going to be like this. No, nothing is set in stone, and you both are ever-changing individuals. That was the first thing I said. I think you just need to give it time, okay? And then the second advice is don't let your past hold you back. So both of you guys, or you're being called to not let your past hold you back. So maybe these trust issues are a part of a larger issue that is coming out in the friendship, but needs to be acknowledged in a larger scale, okay? And for your person, for your best friend, their advice in regards to this friendship and connection is this. A personal issue reaches resolution. Okay, so maybe they have some personal issues that they need to resolve so that they can show up in this friendship the way that it's seeming like you need them to. And it also says here, how your hard work is paying off. Capricorn. I said Capricorn energy like that for them, and they got it. Your hard work is paying off. This was also an advice card that came out for pile 1. Your hard work is paying off. So maybe go watch that pile again, because this is like the second time that, or the third time that I've gotten the same card come out. But yeah, I think your person's advice is to recognize, it seems like they are someone who, oh, and this said full moon in Cancer. Full moon in Cancer on this card. It said south node on your card and mutable moon for you. So you may have a mutable moon sign, or you may be, the advice for you is to recognize that feelings are ever so changing. And while you may feel them very intensely, you may feel completely different about the status of this relationship later on, because things may get better and change for the better. And that is what you need to recognize. But for them, they have both Capricorn and Cancer energy coming out for their advice. So they need to balance their head and their heart, their goals and their emotional needs. But it's also saying that your person or your best friend, they can kind of relax a little bit, because whatever it is that they're trying so hard to keep in control or to achieve or to appear as, it is paying off for them. And I think they just need to allow themselves to take a deep breath. And once these personal issues for them kind of get resolved, and may have something to do with their family, for example, I think they'll be able to show up in this friendship a little bit better for you. I forgot to do an energy check for this last deck, so let me split that real quick. So you had illness and they had stop. Homelessness in reverse. Oh my God. Please go and watch pile 1 if you guys are, you know what, I'm going to shuffle this one more time, because this is the exact card that came out in pile 1's reading, homelessness in reverse, and I'm pretty sure it was in this position. So yeah, I feel like if you, oh my God, if you were drawn to that, go and watch it. But you have homelessness in reverse and they have compromise. So I feel like you need to recognize that you're not as abandoned by this person as you may feel, and your person needs to learn how to compromise with you and to see your side of things. They need to recognize that they need to learn how to agree with you a little bit better. They maybe need to learn how to reconcile your differences better and to consider your feelings more, because it definitely feels like that is something that they struggle to do, even with themselves, right? So it is a big ask in their mind for you to ask them to be more emotional with you, because they're not even like that with themselves. But the advice for them is to kind of, whatever their personal issues that they're feeling like are keeping them or holding them back, they need to recognize them and resolve them so that they can be a better friend to you. And you need to kind of take a break and trust that you put your trust in people that are trustworthy. So, you know, just appreciate the connection, you know what I mean? And be a little bit more patient. Okay, so that is all that I have for you, pile number 2. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far in the reading, I really appreciate all your guys' support and being here. It really helps me grow my channel. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi, pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. If you chose this pile, your card is the Sun card. Yes. So, today we're going to look at the relationship between you and your best friend. I will leave all the important links in the description box below. And I always like to, you know, put this disclaimer. Keep in mind, we are channeling, right now, I'm channeling 2 separate energies from 2 bodies that aren't even here. So while I will always do my best to keep them separate, sometimes roles can reverse and things can get a little sticky. So you will have to take everything as it resonates for you and try to keep an open mind. Take everything with a grain of salt. That being said, today we will be using our Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, our Osho Zen Tarot deck, and our Pantha Oracle deck. And I will be doing our first energy check with the Modern Witch Tarot deck. Okay? So, you and your person. I'm going to shuffle up the deck for you and your best friend. And then when I split it, it will show you versus them. You will be on the left side and your best friend's energy will be on the right. And this is going to just kind of describe, your different personalities and how they show up in the friendship. Okay, so let's split the deck. Here you are, the Death card in reverse. You know what's crazy is the card that just fell out. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was a card that just fell out and I put it back in and it was the World card in reverse. And I heard when I saw it, this bitch never leaves. And then with the Death card here, that really makes me feel like this bitch never leaves. And then for them, they have the Ace of Cups in reverse. Damn. So some of you guys, maybe you're watching this about the Ace of Cups in reverse. This is for personality, so this doesn't necessarily have to mean this is what the energy is for your relationship. This is for me to understand who you guys are as a person. And so for you, you have the Death card in reverse with the Star card in reverse and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. God, I just feel like you guys don't know how special you truly are. I really feel like you guys are someone that's probably been through a lot and who may struggle to keep hope alive sometimes and or to see the meaning behind things and to find the benefit in things and to stay open to new possibilities and opportunities. But you guys are very, very, very strong energy, okay? And for your best friend, well, they have the Ace of Cups in reverse with the Strength card in reverse. Wow. And Temperance. So again, very strong energies for you both. Your best friend has 2 major arcana coming out for them, and you had 2 major arcana coming out as well for the Star and the Death card, and they have the Strength and the Temperance card, which also what I also find to be pretty interesting here is that you have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, but they have the Ace of Cups in reverse. So it could be that you may also be a bit less stable than your best friend is, but you're more emotional than your best friend is. Your best friend is also showing up as someone that may struggle with confidence issues or seeing their self-worth, and or just having a lot of struggles and adversity that they've had to overcome. Some of that adversity may be linked to some sort of medication, illness, addiction, or internal struggle of some kind. But with this Temperance card here, it does make me feel like they are truly a blessing and that they bring a lot of balance to you. despite their ability to bring balance to you, I don't feel like this comes from an emotional place. I feel like this comes from a place of them being someone that gives you a lot of clarity and someone that speaks to you very directly and with truth. And this is how they are in general, but this is kind of what I'm seeing as to how this personality may bleed over to a relationship with you. And I think for you, I can't necessarily say that that's the best approach for you, but that you do appreciate their directness. I don't know if this is the best approach for you, because with the Death card and the Star card in reverse here, it is kind of making me feel like you are a bit more on the sensitive side. Maybe you have gone through a lot of spiritual challenges on your own, and I think right now what you may feel like you need is softness before you feel comfortable moving on to the next phase of your life. And it seems like for your person, your person is very interesting to me, because they seem like someone who is very strong, but who may at the same time lack confidence. And this has a lot to do with their own emotions and finding a balance between everything. And so I'm kind of curious now to see how this bleeds over. And we're going to start off with using our Heavenly Bodies astrology deck here. I think that's what it's called, Heavenly Bodies astrology deck. And this is just going to show me possibly like what your placements are. This could be your big 3, big 6. This could be any synastry or, you know, composite chart placements you and this person have. This could be the houses that your big 6 or big 3 fall in as well. But it also describe in some way, shape, or form the overall vibe of your guys' relationship and friendship overall. Yeah. So let's look at you and your bestie. First, we're going to look at you. How do you come up? What type of person are you? And we have South Node, destined to release. Interesting that you have the destined to release card here, but the first card that I saw for you when I split the deck and did the energy check was the Death card in reverse. So you may have a really hard time letting go of people, jobs, dreams, emotions, thoughts. Okay. And for your best friend, you may have South Node very strongly placed in your chart. For your friend, they have Mars in reverse. For your best friend, this talks about moving forward, but also being able to defend the self. And it's in reverse for them. Ace of Cups in reverse with the Strength card in reverse. Yeah. Okay. Now that makes a lot more sense. So, oh, here I just kind of perked up. So, I get it now. God, our relationships really show so much of like who we are. We gravitate towards people that show us ourselves in one way or another, and a lot of the times can mirror us. And now that I see this South Node here, I do feel like for a lot of you guys, it's possible that you may not be talking to this friend anymore, or if you are in contact, it's very possible that you guys have been on the outskirts at some points, like maybe not spoken for quite some time in between there. And Spirit is saying that that's definitely was meant to happen. And I feel like this was something very difficult for you to do when it did happen, or if it did, with the Death card there. And if it hasn't happened, if you guys haven't had a separation, I do feel like this is something that you may dread, something that you would really hate to ever happen to you. It's very possible, I'm going to say trigger warning right now, that you have lost people very close to you in your life before. And that could be why you hold on so tightly. And if you haven't lost anybody, you have been near someone that has lost someone and seen what that does to someone. And I think that you really, really fear losing your best friend. I'm really getting that energy from you. Now, for your best friend, with this Mars in reverse and that Strength card in reverse, I do feel like your best friend may struggle to be more assertive in their own life and to stick up for themselves. So I'm very curious how both of your energies blend in this relationship, because you do seem to both have your own story, you know, Okay, so tell me more about you. Opposition in reverse, imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. So this is kind of like how you view the relationship. And I do like that the opposition card came out in reverse here, because it almost makes me feel like the way that you view this friendship is like, we may be complete opposites, or you might not be, but whatever the case is, you make it work. There is a sort of harmony to your friendship. Any tension is quickly resolved, and there isn't a power struggle between you both. I think you both try to support each other and uplift each other and give each other a sense of confidence. And I really admire that, because sometimes, you know, you have friends that say they're friends and they're not really friends. They don't really want you to succeed at a rate faster than you. But I feel like you and this person, you both have a similar like trajectory of life. This is different than the other piles as well. I feel like you guys are both kind of on the same plane. Whereas, for example, with pile 2, I did feel a power struggle and a dynamic there that was much different. And here, it kind of makes me feel like you both seem to be on the same level, like be on the same playing ground, or yeah, let's leave it there. You both seem to kind of be in the same place, if that makes sense. And that may mean that you guys may even live very near each other, or in the same town or something like that. But with the opposition card coming out, I still have to acknowledge that the energy is there. So, and that's what I mean for all of the cards that come out in reverse in tarot. The energy that comes out in reverse doesn't mean that it's not there. It means that it is kind of depleted, and insufficient, or destined to come out, just not there yet. And so for you, I feel like you have a very transformative energy to you, a very hopeful, faithful, and a hope, like you are a beacon of hope, a light of hope, a light at the end of the tunnel type of person, whether or not you admit it. And people really see worth and value in you, whether or not you don't see this in yourself. And because these cards have come out in reverse, it does make me feel like this is something that you may struggle to see in yourself. And perhaps this is why you and your best friend work. Maybe your best friend has told you this before, and that's why you feel so seen by them. And as for them, well, they also had cards coming out in the reverse here, which was the Ace of Cups and the Strength. And so I do feel like for them, it's possible that they may feel really uncomfortable with love. Love may make them feel wounds, or bring up wounds for them that make them feel like they aren't enough as well, and that they can't overcome adversity for some reason. And with this Mars card in reverse, I do feel like that pain that they experience, or whatever they would, explicitly describe it as, it creates this lack of movement in their life. And so I feel like both of you guys understand each other in that way, because for you, I think the lack of movement is not being able to close out, not even just cycles, but not being able to close out cycles. Because like I said, I saw the World card in reverse, not being able to close out cycles. Yes, not being able to let things go. And for their person, what is missing for them, or kind of like what is not being acted upon, is their own confidence and their own ambitions and their own ability to defend themselves. Okay, now this is also how they see this friendship. Gemini in reverse. Okay. Curiosity, intellect, and networking in reverse. I feel like this, your best friend feels like they know everything about you. They're not very curious about you because they know so much about you. And I also feel like there is a goofy side to this friendship. You guys may just joke around with each other. Not to say that you can't have very serious intellectual conversations, but almost like what this person values in the friendship is the fact that you guys can have fun together and not take life so seriously, because I think apart from this friendship, life is really hard for you both. And I also feel like your friend is not someone that necessarily wants to share you with others. I think like this is the type of person in my mind who may not, explicitly say this around other people, but you both might understand this, is that they feel like they're your best friend. You know what I mean? They're your best friend. You're their best friend. No one's getting in the middle. With this networking in reverse, I feel like you guys are very tight knit. You know what I mean? And almost like no one could really get in between that circle. It's like childhood besties is kind of like the feeling that I'm getting. Like, you know, when childhood friends are together as kids, it's like they're inseparable. And I do feel like that's kind of you guys' energy. Even when people think about one, they think about the other. Like if somebody thinks about you, they think about your best friend, because maybe you guys are always together or whatever. And the overall energy of this friendship here is cardinal in reverse. Again, like I said, a lack of action. You guys may procrastinate together, honestly. You know, if there was a separation at some point between you and this person, or between you and this friend, you may have found that during that time, you actually got a lot done, a lot more done. You guys, like I said, you may have fun together, but there is an element that I'm kind of getting where it's like you guys may slack off together as well, or kind of sink into like a victim mentality with each other, because you both know what it's like to feel pain and to suffer, and you guys talk a lot about that with one another, but it's almost like you spend so much time talking about it that nothing is being done to overcome it. Like I said, with that Temperance and Strength card in reverse, and for you, that Death card in reverse. But with Cardinal, it says on this card, instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. So I do feel like there is a lack of action and a lack of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But that is something that is very deeply embodied, or what's that word? Deeply embedded. Yes, embedded in your being. Okay. So in terms of synastry, composite charts, or anything that may be in your chart, you may have a very strong South Node placement. As for your person, they may have Mars-ruled signs in their chart. So that is Aries or Scorpio. They may have a debilitated Mars. So maybe like, I think Mars is debilitated in Cancer. Please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure. But they may have Mars in Cancer or Libra. Okay, yes. And I'm also feeling like your person, you may have synastry or composite chart placements sitting in the 3rd house, or something like that. Your composite chart Sun or Venus may be in Gemini. You or they could be a Gemini. I'm feeling like it's more for them because it did fall on their side. And for you, in terms of your own chart, you may have opposition placements in your chart. For example, you may have your Sun in the 12th house and be a Virgo, right? Because Virgo is 6 and Pisces is 12. Or you may have your, let's say your moon is in Aquarius, but it sits in the 5th house, which are both opposites, because Leo and Aquarius are opposite to each other, and Leo is the 5th sign and Aquarius is the 11th. So you may have placements like that in your chart. Okay, and as for the overall energy of your guys' relationship, I do feel like there is a lack of much of anything, really. I do feel like there is a comforting spirit between you and this person. You are both very familiar to one another, and I feel that even with not really much water coming out here, and the water that did come out was the Ace of Cups in reverse, which I don't really relate too much to your guys' connection, but more so it feels like your person is a bit emotionally stunted. Your best friend may be emotionally stunted. They may be like developmentally at a different age than they are right now. Like, what I mean by that is, like, you know how sometimes when people go through like really, really intense, trigger warning, okay, right now, but you know how sometimes when people go through really, really, really intense trauma or PTSD at one point in their life, where they develop or have like chronic PTSD, it's like sometimes they can get stuck in the mindset or the emotional state of whatever age they were when they experienced that. So that might kind of be like where your person is. I don't know why. I also just heard that they might have came out premature. That's weird, but I just heard that. Or somebody was premature. I don't know. Maybe you guys met when you both were very young. I am, like I said, kind of getting this like childhood besties sort of thing. Like, this bitch is never going anywhere. That was what I felt for you. I feel like you're someone who's very loyal and always there for this person. Maybe even when you shouldn't be, right? Because we have that South Node there, which says destined to release. So I do feel like there are some times when maybe you should take a step away from this person. And that might provide some clarity for you. But I do feel like your best friend is someone that is very upfront and honest with you. And with this Death card, which also represents a Scorpio card, and it's interesting because Pile 2 did get Scorpio card right here for the person that would be viewing this right now, which would be you. So it is kind of making me feel similar to what that energy was for that reading, which was describing someone who really appreciated trust and did not like being lied to, and therefore really cherished their friendship because their best friend was so honest with them. So if you relate to that, maybe you can go and watch pile 2's reading, because I think it was pile 2, but you can go and watch. It'll be the card that was like from this deck, but it'll be in this position. And I'm so sorry, my dog is barking right now. I'm not sure why, but who knows. Okay, so that's what I'm getting for you guys. Let's move on. We're going to be using our Osho Zen tarot deck right now, and this deck is going to show something a little bit different here. It's going to show the positive qualities of your relationship based off of the separate lives that you both have lived. So your own backgrounds, your own roots, your own family lives, past friendships or relationships that you have, and how it impacts the way you both interact with one another. Okay, but this is going to show the more positive side of your relationship. Even if the cards come out and you're like, ooh, that doesn't sound good. Don't worry. This is showing the brighter side, and sometimes good comes from bad, right? So, okay. Let's see. Not that anything about you is bad, but oh, and I forgot to do a split energy check for this deck, which is what I usually like to do. So I'll do that right now. You will be on the left, and they will be on the right. All right, let's split. For you, you're showing up as air. So you may have air in your chart. You may have air signs in your big 3 or big 6. That is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You're coming up as somebody who is very open-minded, someone who is objective and logical, and always willing to learn something new. And for your bestie, they are showing up as Aries. Oh my God, I said that earlier. I said they have Mars, and they may have Aries placements, and that is Aries or Scorpio. And lo and behold, they got Aries, which could mean that they maybe have Aries in their big 3 or big 6. So that could be Aries sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mercury, whatever. Interesting. Air and fire. Ooh, air and fire. Air breathes fire, right? So you breathe life into this person almost. Wow. So you and your bestie have that sort of dynamic between you. It's like you guys feed off of one another, or in one way or another contribute to each other's energy. Okay, so let's see. This is going to describe you, your own life and your own background separate from this relationship, but we'll see how it impacts you both in a positive way. So for you, you have control. You are a very controlled, calm, and responsible person. It's kind of giving me like King of Pentacles energy. I think that you are very stable, someone very dependable, someone who doesn't like to lose control, right? So that could mean that you place some sort of restrictions on yourself, or you could just be someone that sticks to a very stable routine, like, oh, I do yoga 8 times a week type of thing, like, or I read my favorite book for 25 minutes every day at 3 p.m. Like, you could just be someone that thinks the way that you should go through life is with a more specific regimen. But what I am getting, though, is that Spirit is saying that that is something that you need to learn how to let go of. Like, you do need to learn how to let go of control, because it is showing here control right next to the South Node card, which says destined to release. So you really do need to release this need to feel like you need to control every little thing in your life. Because it seems like that is something very limiting for you. And the longer that you stay in that mentality, the less change and transformation you will see in your own life. And I think that is something that you have already been able to kind of see with the way things have been going for you. And I think this is something that your best friend has probably told you about. Maybe they've just said it to you in the simple way of, you need to relax. And maybe it didn't resonate for you the way that it does when I say this here right now, because that seems very cold cut, right? Ace of Swords sometimes can be very abrupt, cold cut sorts of messages. So, and your person having that Aries card come out for their energy, I do feel like the way that they speak to you, or the way that they come off to you, can be more direct and bold than maybe you need sometimes. But the message that they try to tell you at any point is always going to be the same, true, yet direct. And so if your friend has described you as someone who really needs to take a chill pill sometimes, I really do think you should listen, because I think that they see the way that stress may build up for you. And I think that this definitely comes from possibly growing up with a family, parents, or maybe even siblings that you had to be responsible for in some way or another. So I think that this need for control definitely comes from a lack of stability in your life growing up. And now this is something that you try to bring to yourself, right? So very self-sufficient and resourceful energy in you, very strong energy. I said that earlier. And I really do think that you should have more faith in yourself, because it's like the second that you let go of control is when that star card will flip up right. Because that's all about faith, you know, and having hope and faith. And you need to have that in yourself. And it seems like for your person, well, they have schizophrenia in reverse. So yeah, they may come off as very crazy and all over the place, but I do feel like the things that they say, the things that they do, they all do it for a reason, and they are a very principled person. I do think that for your best friend, they may have really experienced a lot of mental anxiety and or anguish as a kid. And I said earlier, trigger warning again, that this may have something to do with some sort of, wait, did I say that for this one? I can't remember if I said it for this one. I am getting a bit jumbled because there was another pile that I said I feel like you may resonate with if you were drawn to that as well, where, trigger warning again, somebody's best friend may have experienced a lot of abuse in their younger childhood, and or just saw things that they shouldn't have, and dealt with a lot of like mental anguish because of it, and maybe even felt like they were crazy sometimes. And I feel like that's where your person's insecurities come from. I do think that, or their inability to act, I do think that sometimes they convince themselves that they're crazy. Aries with debilitated ambition and or ability to go after those ambitions that they have naturally within them, or Aries placements, they can kind of convince themselves that they're crazy or their dreams are crazy, right? And instead of acting the way that Mars usually makes you do. And so I feel like your best friend, the way that they grew up, or the things that they've experienced, have kind of made them play it safe almost. And I think that's why you both relate to each other, because you try to do things in a very controlled way, and they don't really let themselves off of the leash, is what I'm hearing. And now for you, this is how you this is how you view how you guys can complement each other in this relationship, what you bring to the table that complements this relationship. And this is your mind. I think what you bring to the table with this person is an understanding of what it's like to feel crazy, what it's like to have a mind that is rampant and ever, you know, like gears moving in your head at all the time. And that's what you bring to the table. You bring an energy of compassion and understanding to your best friend, because you know what it's like to feel like you're going crazy, or to feel like things are almost out of your control and moving at a speed you can't keep up with. And I think that this person really feels that in you. And for them, what they feel like they bring to the table is sharing in reverse. Sharing in reverse. I said that earlier, right? I said that earlier. Sharing in reverse with networking for this very position when they got Gemini. I said, this person believes that you are their best friend and they are yours. There's no one else coming in on this connection. And that's what they bring to the table. They are very loyal to you. And they're not going to let anybody come and try and take your spot, right? You have a friend in them forever, almost like. And that's what they bring to the table. They bring a very loyal spirit and a very dedicated spirit to this friendship. Almost like if you guys did go into separation at some point, I feel like it was something that you initiated and not them. Because they are ever so dedicated, or just, you know, willing or ready to just keep you around and to stay around with you. They really do cherish the friendship that you both share, is what I'm hearing. Okay. And finally, this is overall energy of how you both combine your energies in a positive way in this friendship. And that is integration in reverse, which is kind of crazy. How can I say this? Integration, when it comes out upright for a love reading or a relationship reading of any kind, when I use this deck, makes me feel like it's the perfect omen, right? Because it's a blending of two very opposite energies. But I almost feel like you guys could be so different that is what makes this friendship work. Because like I said earlier with this opposition, you guys could be completely opposite of each other, but have found a way to blend your energies in a way that works. And I think that's what you guys have going for you guys in this friendship. You and your best friend could be very different, come from very different backgrounds or races or whatever. But still, nonetheless, despite that kind of like thought like, oh, this could never work, it does, is what I'm hearing. It does work. You guys do work as a unit, or, you know, did at some point. Like I said, some of you guys may be watching this for someone that you are not in contact with right now. And stay tuned, because later at the end of the reading, I will be giving some advice for how you both can improve the situation. So if don't fret if you're like, oh, I don't really know if we really get along that well or blend each other's energy that well because we're not talking. That doesn't really have anything to do with it, right? I definitely feel like that could include a lot more complexity, right? So you may need a personal reading, which you can get on my channel or on my website, which is in the description box below. But in general, I do feel like it is a blessing that you guys are not exactly the same, okay? And let's do one more split energy check for you both. We are going to split the deck. Jesus. All right, this is going to be close to this integration. This is another thing that makes this relationship work. Isolation in reverse. You guys may always be together. Like I said, someone thinks about one, they think about the other, because you guys may spend a great deal of time together. Yes. And was it this group where I said I feel like this person thinks that they know everything about you already? Because I kind of just thought of that again. I do feel like that's another thing that benefits to this, is this person may know a lot about you. But yeah, let's split the deck. You're going to be on the left and they're going to be on the right. Your energy, what you bring to the relationship, is the creator. You were meant to be in this person's life. You were meant to be their best friend. You were sent to them by whoever, whatever they believe in or you believe in. Yes. I also, so the first thing, before I talk about your person's energy check here for how you guys complement each other, I just keep getting drawn back to this isolation card. So I'm going to read to you guys what it says, okay? The isolation card says, in our society, men in particular have been taught not to cry, to put a brave face on things when they get hurt, and not show up or show that they're in pain. But women can fall into this trap too, and all of us at one time or another might feel that the only way to survive is to close our feelings off, to close our emotions off so we can't be hurt again. If our pain is particularly deep, we might even try to hide it from ourselves. This can make us frozen, rigid, because deep down we know that one small break in the ice will freeze the hurt. One small break in the ice will free the hurt to start circulating through us once again. The rainbow-colored tears. Let me show you guys. The rainbow-colored tears. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I just had to read it before I said it because, oh, fuck. The rainbow-colored tears on this person's face hold the key to breaking out of this isolation. The tears, and only the tears, have the power to melt the ice. It's okay to cry, and there is no reason to feel ashamed for your tears. Crying helps us let go of our pain and allowing us to be gentle with ourselves and finally help us to heal. We are miserable because we are too much into the self. What does it mean when I say we are too much in the self? Well, what exactly happens when we're too much in the self? It's like either you can be in existence or you can be in the self. Both are not possible together. So to be in the self means to separate, to be apart from others and the world. And it's no crazy thing that this is showing up right next to the integration card in reverse. So I do feel like for both of you guys in the past, you maybe have experienced a lot of hurt, which made you feel excluded, and or maybe on your own accord, you isolated yourself from others out of fear of getting hurt or backstabbed or made to feel less than again. But this this takes away a warmth in your life, right? But look at you showing up with this card that just seems like this beaming energy, right? This warm and beaming energy. I think you brought a lot of warmth and love to this person's life. And with the Ace of Cups in reverse, I think they need it, right? It does feel like this person is lacking in true affection for most people in their life. And you bring a different energy to them, a lot of caring energy to them. Like I said, that Control card is making me feel like King of Pentacles energy, which is a very devoted person, a very loving person who's willing to put in the work to take care of someone else and to nurture a relationship. And with this particular, let me see if I can find it for you guys really quickly, because I don't want to go too deep into this, because I do feel like we're on a good, what's that word? We're on a good speed with the reading right now. I know it's a little bit longer. Maybe, I'm sorry if you guys don't like the longer readings, but I try to be thorough. But the Creator card talks about a Zen master. There's a Zen master in this card. And this Creator or Zen master has harnessed the energy within them, the energy of fire and warmth, and they have learned how to use it to create rather than to disturb or destruct. This person recognizes that they need to participate to understand. They recognize that they have to learn how to master their own passion without repressing it or allowing it to get destructive. This person is someone that offers the gift of understanding and integration to all those who come to them. The gift of a creative light that comes in the center or comes from the center of their being. The King of Fire, this is what this is in the deck. The King of Fire in this deck tells us that we can do anything that we put our mind to. That understanding comes from maturity, and that whatever skills we have need to be harnessed to learn how to express yourself. And so this is also interesting because in this deck, this Creator card talks about how there are two different types of creators. That one creator may be someone that works with objects or tangible items. So someone that is a sculptor, a painter, a tarot card reader, a mechanic, something like that. But the other creator is someone that is a bit of a mystic and who creates themselves. And they don't work with anything else. They work with their own subject, which is them and their own being. And the real creator, the real poet, is someone that makes themselves into their own treasure, their own masterpiece. And I think that's really interesting because that making yourself into something is what I said earlier. You being a very resourceful person, taking all of that pain and need or ambition or wanting to control and do so much and turning it into something very lovely and almost poetic. And that's what you bring to the table in this connection. You bring a warmth and an ability to integrate despite differences to this connection. And for your bestie, well, they're showing up as the guidance card in reverse. Wow. This is very different energy from the other readings. I'm gonna be honest, the other piles, like there was a very clear problem in both of them. And I'm not really seeing one here. Not to say that like I said, if some of you guys are in separation with this person, it could be that you're in separation for different reasons, like you moved away, or one person is in like the military and the other person isn't, or one person lives in a time zone that is like 12 hours difference and you can't really talk that much, you know, something like that. But I'm not really getting that anything really big has happened between you and them. I'm actually feeling a very strong, healthy connection between you both. That's very quite lovely, actually. But here with this guidance card in reverse showing up for your person and what they bring to the table, keep in mind reverse doesn't mean bad. But what this card is all about, well, this angelic feature in the picture with the rainbow wings, they represent a guide that we all have within ourselves. It's something we carry around with us everywhere, like this second figure in the background, but something that like we could only see in our own mirror almost, you know, like an angel on our own shoulder. And sometimes we can be reluctant to trust that guide when it's around us because we're so accustomed to taking cues or symbols from something outside of ourselves and not just listening to our own truth. But your truth is the deepest part of yourself and it's coming out regardless of if you want it to or not. Sometimes it whispers to you. Sometimes it reminds you not to hesitate. over and over again until you fully have understood it. But indications with this card are clear. In the following, the inner guide, you will feel more whole, more integrated. If you're moving outwards from the very center of your being, if you go with it, the beam of light will carry you exactly where you need to go. So, and it's in reverse here. So I feel like your person, maybe at some point, your best friend, they could be someone that is very, very, very intuitive. And it's interesting because every single pile's best friend has came out as someone who's spiritually inclined in some way, but denied this part of themselves. And it's so crazy because that could be why you gravitate towards them, because you feel this insane need for control, right? But your person always delivers these messages to you that seem so stoically true, but they say it in this clear-cut way that doesn't make it seem as spiritual as it is or as intuitive as it is, but it is. And I think that's why the guidance card has come out in reverse for them, because they don't make the things that they say to you seem like a big lesson, but just a best friend being a friend almost. And that's quite lovely. And the reminder for you is to really, and I think I said this earlier, was to listen to your best friend's advice more. Because I do think that they have your interest, your best interest in mind at all times, truly. Yeah. Okay. So now we're moving on to our Pantha Oracle deck here. This is going to show those difficulties now. So we've seen how you guys complement one another, but now we're going to see how your differences may get in the way of the connection. And this will segue us into the advice for you both. Okay. So again, if you're here for a best friend, a best friendship that has ended, this is the part that you should really listen to. If you're still here, I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I love you all. Bye. Okay. Okay. So ending that little tidbit, let's move on to how you guys may see some difficulties in this friendship. Well, for you, this is the parts of yourself that make it hard to make things work sometimes, okay? And this is your roots and the deepest parts of yourself that come out sometimes unconsciously for you and them. So take everything that I'm saying very softly, very, you know, if at any point I get a little bit louder or something like that, please don't think that I'm like getting all up in your face, but I'm just going to go with it, okay? So for you, you've got conflict in reverse. Interesting, because I think that is very similar to this need for control and need to learn how to release. When someone is very conflict adverse, right, they don't want to be different. They don't want to stand out. They don't want to fight, and they don't want to quarrel. But sometimes you do need to fight. Sometimes you do need to say what you're truly feeling and get it out on the table. You could be someone that holds back what you're truly feeling if you're uncomfortable about something for quite some time before you truly release it. And Spirit is saying that in some way, shape, or form, this does create difficulties in your friendship. And for your person, they have luck. Okay, so they have luck. And how this can create difficulties, I can already feel it. I feel like for your person, where did this laziness card come from? I just saw this. Oh my God, and it makes so much sense because this is exactly what I was about to describe. You know what's crazy? I think pile 1 got laziness in reverse. And it was for the position of the person who, fuck. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was for the, oh my God. It was for the position of who was viewing. Wow. But you could go back and watch the description of the difficulties that that person had in this position with the Pantha Oracle deck. And I think it will describe a little bit more similar to some of the difficulties I'm about to describe for your person. Because it almost feels like your person, what they bring to the table is someone who's very dedicated and devoted, as I said. But it's almost like I feel like they coast. Like I said, you guys may not really be realizing or accomplishing your goals too much when you're with each other because you find such a safe space in one another. So you could both kind of be enabling one another in some sort of way. But with this luck card coming out for your person, they do kind of feel like a good luck charm and a good person to have around. And I also feel like they may experience a lot of luck in their life despite any hardships that they may have had. But almost like they take too much of a laid back approach with their own life because they feel like they're going to get lucky, or at some point they recognize or realize, oh, I'm gonna get rewarded for everything at some point, so it doesn't really matter. Sometimes they may speak in a way like that where it's not very optimistic, it's not very real, but at the same time it is optimistic, right? So that could be something that they struggle with, like being real and being optimistic at the same time. They may struggle to balance both of those energies, which I think a lot of people struggle with, right? This ability to say, well, everything's going to work out for me, and to trust that, but to also not fall into this laziness and leave it all up to everyone else but yourself. And so I feel like this is a balance that your person may need to recognize in themselves, because you being someone who's conflict adverse and who tries to keep things very controlled, you could be putting in a lot of effort all the time to kind of keep the peace between you both, but you could actually be very upset with the laid back approach that they take to this friendship. Like maybe they do need to do a little bit more, and they don't, but because you feel such a strong connection with them, you kind of let them coast. And Spirit is saying, if that is the case for you, that you should communicate that a little bit more and just be more upfront with them about that, as upfront with them as they are with you. Yes. And now this is going to show, according to you, or not according to you, but this is specifically what sort of difficulties you bring, right? Because these show difficulties or just concepts of your own personal lives, but this is more specific to this connection. So for you, you have stubbornness. Yeah, like I said, I think you try to keep control. You do put yourself in a bit of a restrictive state. And the stubbornness card, it says here, selfishness, a mulish attitude, or sometimes can even be arrogance. And so you do need to be careful with that, because it could be that sometimes your ability or your need to control things and to feel like you don't have the ability to control things but still have the need to do so can make you come off as someone who's very stubborn or just not changeable, not movable. So as peaceful as you try to be in this friendship, the need for control kind of overlaps that. It overcompasses, or what's that word? It kind of negates that peacefulness in you, right? Because you can't really be peaceful if you feel imbalanced and if you feel like you don't have control. They just don't, those two things don't go well with each other. And I can see and feel that conflict within you and how it comes out in the friendship, because at this, on one point, you do have this King of Pentacles sort of energy that I'm feeling. I'm not sure if that's the King of Pentacles in this deck, but it feels like it. It feels like you have this kind of King of Pentacles energy where you are very grounded and calm, but it's almost like underneath all of that, right? Like underneath this foundation and this beautiful picture of someone, or the pyramids or whatever this is that looks very legit, there is like almost like if you were to open this up, it'd be a fire in you, like building up this need to kind of express and explode. I think you guys confuse this as a need to control, like an anxiety thing, but I don't feel like it's anxiety. I think that's the star quality in you really needing to come out. And Spirit is saying that closed offness bleeds into this friendship. And I think I mentioned how both of you guys seem to have this like not really doing much, but it comes out in different ways. And for them, it feels like they feel like this relationship is ever so lucky and it's always going to work out. So they may not do as much. But for you, you seem to be very stuck in a habit or doing things a certain way. And it seems to be causing you a lot of strife. And so for them, this is what difficulties they may bring. And they have imagination in reverse. And I think I said this earlier. This person feels like they know everything about you. And I can see why that may be very hard for you, because someone who really does have this fire in them that needs to be exploded and let out. But you can't really do it in this friendship because it's almost like this person feels like they know everything about you. So it's like if you tried to be any different, I don't know, you may feel like they might not accept it or something. But with imagination on this card, it says variety, fantasy, and mind. Similar, because you have mind here. This was the mind, you had mind card for you in your position for what you brought to the table. So it's almost like, I feel like this person underestimates your creativity. Your best friend may be someone that doesn't know how spontaneous you can actually be. I feel like you are someone that once you let go of that need for control, you could actually bring a lot of fun and action to this relationship. And it's almost like you're the person that's going to have to take the lead to do that in this friendship, because your person just can't even imagine it. And overall, the energy of the difficulties between you both, what is coming out is profession in reverse, which talks about expertise and talent. I feel like you both are just not living up to your potential right now. You both could be, you know, really, really astute in something, like very creative, or just super smart and well-versed in something, and not using those skills. And Spirit is saying that you both seem to be keeping yourselves in that kind of squandered potential state. So now we're going to do one final energy check for these difficulties or differences that you both bring to the table. We got perseverance here coming out as one of the challenges for you. And on the card, it says challenge, endurance, and resolution. So like I said, I do feel like some of you guys may be in a friendship right now, or this best friendship right now, maybe one that is not really pushing you both where you need to be. And that doesn't mean that you have to get rid of it. It just means that you have to encourage each other again, to step out of your comfort zones and to take more control in your own life. And for you to let go of control. So I feel like this person needs to take control and you need to let go of it. So you could both take a page out of each other's book. Interesting. Now let's see. We're going to shuffle this one more time and then we'll split it for your energy check. All right. You're going to be on the left and they're going to be on the right. All righty. All right. You. Commitment. This is very much you and your difficulties, okay? You are someone that binds yourself to a strict routine or something that you don't even really need or want and doesn't make you feel as safe as you would like to believe, okay? You are someone that has a lot of blockages and obstructions that you just need to let go of, okay? And, yeah, just release, like, oh, okay? Take a deep breath. Some of you guys, whoever's watching this right now in this position, take a deep breath right fucking now, okay? And for your person, for their difficulties and what they may contribute negatively to this connection, for your best friend, well, they have schedule in reverse, which is exactly what I was talking about with this laziness card, okay? I feel like your best friend, they may wake up super fucking late. They may not be able to manage their everyday responsibilities. They may just kind of act a bit like a child sometimes. Like I said, I did feel that Ace of Cups in reverse, kind of like I'm emotionally stunted in a way. Or they may just be someone that just really struggles to plan and to stick to a schedule. And that's just the complete opposite of you, right? So I can see how these difficulties, although they seem bad, you both could, like I said, take a page out of each other's book. You could learn how to let go and they could learn how to get a little tighter, hold on a little tighter. Now, finally, we are going to end this out with some advice cards. Okay, we're going to be using our Moonology Oracle deck here. All right, what's some advice? We'll pull 2 for you and 2 for them. Advice for you both in this friendship. Like I said, I do feel like this is a good friendship between you guys. I definitely see how you can help each other. It could just be that you're not seeing it because you've known each other for so long, or because you've gotten stagnant. You guys have gotten too stuck in a routine with one another. And that's where I come in and I say, no, that death card, no, it needs to come out upright. Everyone experiences death cards in their life. And it doesn't mean literal loss. Sometimes you do need to lose or let go of something, though, to receive something better for you. Now, the overall advice for you both before you do the individual. On the bottom of the deck, it says a new romantic cycle begins. But this isn't a romance reading, so we're going to take this as a new friendship cycle begins. Okay, and it also said believe in the impossible, and I feel like this is more directed towards your person who had the imagination in reverse, not being able to see this friendship being any different than what it is. Now, for you, your specific advice, the first card here says, a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. A fiery climax approaches, so that, I think that death card is gonna follow that very soon after, okay? And then balance spirituality and practicality. I think this is something that you need to find in yourself. That feeling of a lack of control you need to learn how to balance that and to recognize that you are a practical being and you don't have to confine yourself as much as you do. You can find a way to be practical and to let loose. And for your person, for your best friend, their advice, the first one is to bring love into the situation. They do need to maybe be a little bit more softer or considerate with you. I don't know. Or just open themselves up to feeling more comfortable with affection. Perhaps this is something they struggle with. But their advice here is to bring love into the situation. So maybe they do need to practice being a little bit more softer with you. Maybe that's the change that you've been hoping to see with them. And finally, for their second advice, it says, I can't make this up. I cannot make this up. This is my favorite. This is my favorite, like, aha moment of, like, almost all of the readings I've done, because this is almost like, hey, Jade, I know you just said this person may need to step it up, but I mean, Spirit literally just reconfirmed that luck is on their side. It says right there on the bottom of the advice card, luck is on their side. I did say that I do feel like this person is very spiritually inclined. They may not recognize it. And that could be why they just kind of take a laid back approach, because at some point they may feel it in their toes that they are just going to have everything pay off for them. And as long as you stick around with them, I do feel like they're going to support you and help you up just as much as you do with them. Okay. So I hope you guys liked this reading. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed doing this reading for you guys, pile 3. It was definitely much different than all the other ones, all the other 2 that we did right before. I felt like it was very clean cut. Yes, very clean cut. Like, I wasn't sitting here trying to find the answers. Your connection seemed to be one that was very understandable. And hopefully I was able to interpret it in a way that resonated with you. Don't forget to hit all the links in the description box below. And again, I thank you for being here. See you next time. Bye.